Hey guys, how's it going? I am on my last row. I thought I would wait to film until my last row so that I film until I finish, and that's when I end the video. So I've got to go from here to here, and then I'll be done for today. I have been feeling incredibly bloated this morning. I'm drinking some peppermint tea, which has made me feel better. But man, this morning I was so gassy. I woke up, obviously I farted when I woke up, and then I walked this little guy, and I farted so many times. Like I was like walking him, and then I was like, I'm walking him, and then like, yeah, exactly. That's what I sounded like, right? So anyway, and then I got back here. I didn't eat breakfast until I'd been up for a while because I knew I was bloated. So I had some turmeric bliss tea from Adagio Teas, which was very pleasant but did not fix the problem. And then I was hungry, so I had breakfast, and then I was even more bloated. So that's the peppermint tea. I was so bloated I thought that I might throw up. But I've been burping a lot, or rather gurgling. If you hear me make weird noises that don't sound quite like a burp, that's how I burp. I just gurgle. Pretty weird, but you know, as long as the air's coming out. What am I getting? No, that's not helpful. The weather today is lovely. So I think it's actually in the 60s outside, and the high today is like 73. So I have the windows open. That might make Bingley a little more barky, as you can see, because he can hear the birds out there, and he does not like crows. He is very anti-crow. He hates it when they get into the trash of the people around the neighborhood. He barks at them, tries to chase them. And while I do like crows, I don't like that they try to eat baby birds. So I let him do it, unless he's being absolutely ridiculous, in which case I distract him. But yeah, so he's tippy-tappying around, trying to fight the crows. Hey, baby? Yeah. So how are you guys this morning? Did you have a good sleep? What are your plans for today? Normally Friday is my day off, but I had a doctor's appointment yesterday, just my yearly checkup, and then I visited some friends, so I only worked 2 hours yesterday, which means I have to make up 6 hours today. It works out okay though, because I have to edit the video for my work YouTube channel. And I usually kind of lose track of time when I'm doing that, so hopefully it won't feel like too much of a chore on my day off. Other than that, I should probably like clean the kitchen and do some laundry. I might leave my PJs on all day. We'll see. We'll see how we roll. Oh, I suppose I should get some groceries today for Sunday. I could wait till tomorrow, but I work a full day of work tomorrow, and I feel like maybe today's the best option. I don't know. Anyway, I don't love leaving the house on my day off. But if I thought I hadn't done it yesterday, I wouldn't have to, now would I? I thought today we could also talk about a LitHub article. So LitHub, I don't know if you're aware, Literary Hub, it is one of my favorite websites. There's a bunch of literary articles, literary themed articles. I believe they also like have like a podcast or a radio channel or something. Anyway, I am on there pretty frequently, and they just started this new column called Am I the Literary Asshole? So I thought we would take a glancey glance at that. It was posted just yesterday. Okay, so I'm not going to read all of it to you. I will just read the important bits. So it says, "Greetings, gentle readers. Welcome to the very first installment of Am I the Literary Asshole? A series where I get drunk and answer your burning anonymous questions about all things literary." This is written by Kristen Arnett. I don't know who that is. Maybe you guys do. Let me know if you know. She talks a bit about opinions and how everybody has opinions. And then she says, "Before we dig in, it's important that I point out the obvious here. Generally speaking, I don't ever know what I'm talking about. But much like everyone on the Lord's internet, I do have some opinions trademarked. And I definitely have some beers. I think if we combine those two factors, we should get some satisfying results." Blah, 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 blah. So let me crack open a cold one. You feel free to do the same, and let's see what we've got on the docket for today. Obviously, I do not have a beer this morning. I, as aforementioned, have peppermint tea. Okay, number 1. Am I the literary asshole for thinking reading should never be a competition? Or not just never be a competition, never ever be a competition. Just read what you want and stop telling us how much you've read unless we specifically ask. I care more about whether one person enjoyed the one book they spent all year reading than Sharon, who read 1 billion books this year and doesn't remember any of them. Honestly, good question. I'm totally on board with that. I tend to be more like Sharon, who reads 1 billion books and doesn't remember any of them, especially fantasy or like young adult, because they kind of meld together in my mind. But fair, it would be good if I remembered the books that I read, and it doesn't make me cooler because I read a bunch of books and don't remember them. Okay, first off, congratulations to Sharon, 1 billion books. I knew you could do it. Total faith. Second, and more seriously, I think we can all relate to this question. Obviously I do. At least a little bit. If you're reading this advice column, I'm going to assume a few things. I know, you know what happens when we assume, but hey, I've always been an ass man. I assume that you're a reader, and I assume that you might be a writer. And as writers, it's imperative that we read anything and everything. The biggest hurdle we face when it comes to books is how, I'm going to censor this, gosh darn, many of them there are in the world. It's an uphill battle to try and read everything out there, and let's face it, it's a battle we're going to lose. There are simply too many to get to all of them, folks. Honestly, one of the great tragedies in the world, that I can't read all of the books. But what's at the heart of your question, I think, unless that's just the beer talking, is the fact that you feel that people are competing when it comes to how much they're reading. I think it's easy for us to feel that way. Sites like Goodreads say it 3 times and she appears like Bloody Mary. I'm starting to feel like the author actually is, a little tipsy. I feel like that's not entirely necessary. Now, this may be coming from my interest in etiquette and how I grew up reading Judith Martin's, what's it called? Anyway, excruciatingly correct behavior is in the title, but I don't think that's the whole title. Anyway, I like advice columns that are like proper. So, sorry to Kristen Arnett. Not super enjoying the swearing and the tangents. I'd rather have a little bit of a more serious answer, but that's how she wants to run the column. That's her thing. I'm still having fun. Okay, so sites like Goodreads impress upon us that reading can feel like mass consumption, more like pounding fast food than enjoying a nice leisurely meal. So true, and we could also make some comments upon the publication world, and how easy it is to get published and how bad books get published. I just read a book called Done and Dusted because it was popular on TikTok, and literally it felt like a first draft to me. My apologies if you read Done and Dusted and you really liked it. That is your prerogative. I personally did not vibe. I mean, I still finished it. It was so cheesy romance. Anyway, okay. More like pounding fast food than enjoying a nice leisurely meal. But as a big fan of fast food, I think there can be room for both. We can fly through books, or we can sit around with them and take our time. It's possible when people are posting about how much they're reading, they're simply doing it for their own pleasure, and that's what reading is supposed to be about, our individual enjoyment. I think we can say a hearty good for you to those people posting and keep on keeping at our own steady pace. That's fair. But I do also feel like we've all had the friend or been the friend who reads a bunch and feels superior. Also, there's a fly in here, probably because I have the windows open because the weather is so nice. Oops, I hope it leaves. If not, it'll just live with us until it passes away. Anyway, we have all been the person or known the person who thinks that what they read or how much they read makes them better than other people. And I think in some ways that's a bid for connection. You know, a high schooler who says, oh, I've read like 10 books this month. And you're like, oh, that's great. Maybe they're trying to bring it up because they don't have anyone to talk to about books. Like when I was young, I would read a book and I would want to talk to somebody about it and nobody cared because they weren't into English. They weren't into literature like I was. Maybe they read books, but it wasn't like their thing. So in some ways, I think it's a bid for connection. So another thing that this write-in person, what do they call people who write in? Question asker? Questioner? Anyway, something this questioner could do is when Sharon says how many books she has read, you say, oh, which was your favorite? Tell me all about it. And that would really benefit your relationship with Sharon. At least I would say so. We just drove by. We're at the end of the road. Sometimes people turn on in our driveway. But Mom might have also made a grocery order that she'll want me to bring in. So somebody knocks on the door and Bingley explodes in a little barky. Oh, no, they're leaving. Okay, great. You can avoid the barky. Oh, right, question 2. My question is, when we see writers we admire out at hotel bars or really anywhere in public, is it okay to approach them? Is it annoying? What do you think? Let me know in the chat if you've seen, I guess it's technically a comment section, not a chat. Anyway, let me know if you've seen a famous writer and whether you said hi to them and how it went, if so. One time when I was having brunch with my sister, I thought I saw a guy who looked a lot like Neil Gaiman, but I didn't know enough, and also he was having brunch with somebody else, and so I thought it would be rude to just be like, hey, are you Neil Gaiman? But yeah, he saw me looking at him, and he looked back at me. So I feel like maybe he was Neil Gaiman, but anyway, I did not say hi. Plus I'm kind of introverted, so. I genuinely love this question because I don't think there's one right answer. It's going to come down to personality and occasion. I think we could put a few ground rules in place though. Is the person in question at a private dinner that looks romantic? Are they in the middle of a tense-looking conversation with someone? Are they talking on the phone? Are they walking into a public restroom? See, now that is when I would say hello. In any of these instances, I think you would take your social cue how you would in any other related situation. Not today, friend, maybe another time. There. On the other hand, is this person at a writing festival? Obviously, you say hi at a writing festival. Are they at a big, noisy bar, at a concert, at a big public venue? I'd say it's probably fine. Then there's that tricky middle ground. Because there are some people like me who are natural extroverts and would welcome with open arms the chance to talk to you and hang out. But other people, more introverted people, might not skew in that direction. I think it's a wise idea to consider what you might already know about that author. What's their online situation? Are they a person who interacts with others frequently, or do they seem standoffish? Are they bubbly and talkative? Or do they seem quieter and prefer seclusion? Have they pointedly said they like to be left alone? Then pal, you've already got your answer. Yeah. There's my mouse. There we go. Okay. Overall, I think that most authors, myself included, would be thrilled to have someone come up and give them the very nice compliment of recognizing them and talking about their work. If you're feeling iffy, perhaps err on the side of caution, walk up, say a brief hello, and let the other party take it from there. All this to say, if you ever see me at a bar, please say hello and let me buy you a drink. Last call and last beer. Okay, so I think she's doing just 3 questions. I feel like I should look up Kristen Arnett. Let's take a second to look her up and see who she is. Kristen Arnett. Kristen Arnett. Kristen Arnett is an American fiction author and essayist. She has a dog, or at least she has a picture with a dog. What books has she read? Okay. Mostly Dead Things. Haven't read that. With Teeth. Haven't read that. Felt in the Jaw. Haven't read that. And Retro Vibe. Haven't read that. But I feel like I've heard of Mostly Dead Things. Alright, anyway. Number 3. How many literary nemesis is too many literary nemesis? Is it okay to be creatively motivated by revenge? I love that. Once again, we've cycled back, a classic literary argument just like times gone by. In the good old days of Twitter, RIP to a real one, except most of us are still there clanking our chains and groaning in the mausoleum. We must have gone through this question at least 50 times. People have valid concerns and arguments for both sides of the debate. I'm going to keep my answer simple though. Have only enough literary nemesis that you can still keep track of them all, or else what's the point? Oh, hi. And if your writing feels better and fresher because it's motivated by revenge, then hey, more power to you. Thanks for hanging out with me, friend. It was a good first day on the job, and remember to send me your questions. Okay, so you can, if you want to send a question, to be a questioner, then you can send it to the email that they have, askkristen@lithub.com, or there's an anonymous spot to put it in as well. Okay, well, tell me if you like reading through LitHub articles with me. I know this one's a little interesting because I didn't know who Kristen Arnett was, and of course the format here is more casual and relaxed instead of like an article about literature, which I am very pro snobby articles about literature. That fly is still really going around. What are your literary asshole-ish moments? What are my literary asshole-ish moments? Well, as I said, like I tend to be a little like Sharon, like I want to talk about how many books I've read. I don't know if that makes me an asshole, and I don't think that makes Sharon an asshole. But Kristen kind of agreed, didn't she? Oh, I should drink my tea, shouldn't I? Oops, I dropped the coaster on the floor. Don't you hate it when your coaster sticks to the bottom of your cup? Or your mug. And then it pops off, and then you drop it. When I was little, and my family had an Astro van, Chevrolet Astro, I guess. One of the cup holders would pop out. It would stick to the bottom of the water bottle you put in it. You'd pull it out every time. So every now and then, someone would come inside with their water bottle, and then they would look at their water bottle and realize that they brought in the cup holder lining with them. I liked the band. I was sad when well, I guess we sold it to somebody else for like super cheap because it was old. Or maybe my parents gave it away. I don't know. I was not that old. I drive a Civic now, very beat up Honda Civic. Well, Mr. Bingley, what are your plans for today? I think he's getting a lot of stimulation from the open windows, from the nice smells. He's doing a lot of sniffing. Normally he naps so we went out at 7:30 this morning. Actually points to me. I got up at 7:30 yesterday for my doctor's appointment. I got up at 7:30 today, which is huge because I really struggled to get up before 9 a.m. I love chronic fatigue. It's so fun. But anyway, so this morning we got up at 7:30. We had kind of a long walk. We saw 3 big dogs, all kind of pit bull-esque. 2 of them seemed very sweet and one of them was sort of aggressive. So I've been doing this hack where you give like baby food, obviously dog safe ingredients in the baby food. You give like one of those baby food pouches when you need to give a treat, and it's supposed to be to keep your hands warm in the wintertime. It's easier to do that with your gloves on than a treat. But I've noticed that the licking action, since it's the baby food pouch, the licking action, and you know, hoping more will come out, really it's me squeezing it, it's really great at distracting him from the thing he's reacting to, which is typically a big dog. So he actually did a really good job. I might have pushed him a little too far, made him watch the dogs for too long. He did really well. No like lunging, which is huge. Actually, no full barks either. Grumbling for sure, growling, but no lunging, no barking, which was really fantastic. There's one of the dogs, or perhaps those 2, would have probably been nice for him to get along with, but see, the first 2 dogs we saw, they were behind the fence because we went to the park. It's really just like a park that has a baseball, what's it called? A baseball field in it. Kids play there or practice there after school. And so the park is right next to houses, so there was a fence that belonged to one of the houses, and 2 dogs there. One of them seemed like he was whining specifically because he wanted to say hello, and if that had been the case, if Bingley had been amenable to it, I would have let him sniff through the fence, because often that can, you know, really reinforce that it's a positive interaction. You sniff the other dog, but the other dog can't actually get to you, so you don't feel quite as threatened, but you still get to meet a new dog. So I would have let him do that, except the other dog was kind of a bully. So he was jumping. If he'd been able to get over the fence, he would have. It wasn't being that bad, but like he was jumping to try to get over the fence. And when he got irritated with the nice dog, he would snap at him. And I was like, you know, I think maybe let's not go up to the fence this time. It wouldn't have been healthy for either that dog or for Bingley. And maybe that dog's reactive too, you know, maybe he doesn't mean to be a bully, maybe he's just reacting to other dogs and then responding when he's irritated. I totally get that, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna expose my dog to him just to try to help him. He's not my dog. Oh, he's got his little eyes closed. But yeah, I think having the windows open is gonna be really great stimulation. We may even go sit on the back deck today. That's a thought. Guess it kind of depends on how my work goes and where I feel like working. But I think he had a really good walk this morning. We were out there for like 40 minutes. We'll probably have to go out again in like half an hour or so. Unless he's had enough mental stimulation and his bladder isn't too full. Okay guys, really going at it here. Hope your crafts are going well. Feel free to skip ahead to me finishing this blanket. It's not that much further. My tummy isn't feeling completely better, but it's definitely feeling well enough to do my work now, which is great. I do want to be well enough to do my work. I have my infusion in like 2 weeks. So hopefully after that I won't have these like on and off stomach upsets. Oh, that reminds me that I haven't taken my pills yet today. Should do that. So what are you all working on? How is it going? I've been doing too much chatting. You gotta tell me some stuff now. It's your turn to chat. I gotta work on this. Why don't you tell me if you have pets? And what kinds of quirks they have. So close. Rocking the chair helps me work faster. Maybe not really, but makes me feel rhythmic. That's why grandmothers do it. That's why they knit and rock. You feel like it's all one cohesive thing, movement. So yesterday, I found out that in World War II there were pink planes because they were hard to see at dawn and dusk. And I just feel like, why does nobody tell the girlies this? Why does nobody tell the girlies that they too can have a pink plane, for one thing, but like, we want to take over the world too, am I right? And if you can do it in a pink plane, that's just inspiration. I just feel like somebody should be telling the girlies about the pink planes. Obviously, when we know about the night witches or whatever they were called, but still, I hope that the night witches had pink planes, but maybe they were World War I. I don't know my history. I don't. But pink planes are great. Just a few more stitches left. Hope you guys are wrapping up your craft time as well. Like 5 stitches. Thank you. 4 stitches. Oops, no, I'm just over here. 3 stitches. 2. All done. Honestly, proud of my progress so far. I didn't actually realize I could do this in a month. Like I said last time, the ergonomic handle really helps. Huge help. Dropped my yarn through the arm of the chair. The rungs of the arm of the chair. There we go. Okay. Alright guys, it's been lovely chatting and I hope you have a great day. I don't know if I'll film tomorrow, but I'll see you next time I film.